We are moving ahead for our last session, that is important aspect of drafting of legal document, deed of conveyance, JD agreement, and lease and assignment agreements. So we are calling our next speaker, Advocate Budhyan Bhattacharjee. So please come on the dais. So it's 5:43 p.m. right now. I introduced Advocate Budhyan Bhattacharjee. He regularly appears as a leading counsel before the courts of records, including the Supreme Court of India and various high courts across the country. He also represents clients before the several constitutional and statutory tribunals located to different parts of India. He founded his own law firm named Bhattacharjee and Associates, Advocates and Consultant. The head office is located in Kolkata only, with 2 additional branches in northeast region of India. So their legal services covers including constitutional law, commercial law, and international law, civil and taxation law. So, sir, I will hand over the mic to you. So please go forward for the session.
Thanks for this August assembly. The last session was a very illuminating session, I should say. It was not only intriguing for our professional psyche, but also very, very interesting for we as persons. Now, it will be better if I can quote some, eulogized poets to say that let us toll back to the reality. Coming back, Acha, now tell me, should I continue in English or should I go with English and Hindi both? Both are comfortable, so I'll just interchange accordingly. I think after this session that we all had, most of us know about the GST rates and the GST formalities regarding real estate. Obviously, that is not my topic today. My topic is, while appreciating the GST rates and all the GST formalities, we need to have a keen insight to the documents that we make, draftings. What are those draftings? First and foremost point, let us just get into the pith of the law. In the GST regime, we have seen, before the GST regime, actually this takes birth from the time of Bengal Finance Sales Tax Act 1941. Thereafter, it came down to 1954 Sales Tax Act. Then 1994, thereafter VAT, and now finally to GST. The ethereal question was, what is a sale and what is not a sale? Which boiled down to what is a sale and what is a service. The biggest question cropped up, somebody is making a building. That building is being divided into apartments. Flats are sold. If you consider building, the units are like cement, sand, mortars, all movable properties. Whether these can be termed as something movables or immovables, the concept of works contract came. From here, the question of contract became very important. Today, we all know that in GST, whenever we attach a value to the supply, whenever we put a rate on it, what we do, 1/3 is deducted, and that is how we get the effective rate of the GST, whatever is imposable on it. Now there is one most important point. Why this is 1/3 deducted? Because it's the value of the land that is taken. The value of the land is taken and 1/3 rate is deducted, 1/3 amount is deducted, and बाकी जो भी है उसके ऊपर ये टैक्सेशन आता है. अभी अगर आप देखोगे तो ये जो 1/3 रेट है ये हम डिडक्ट कर रहे हैं, बस किताब बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स में दिखाने से तो नहीं चलेगा. हम इसको कंसिडर किया है, लेकिन ये कंसिडर करने का कोई ना कोई बेसिस होनी चाहिए. There has to be a basis of this consideration. What that consideration basis be? That is the draft. That is the deed of conveyance that you are making. आपका अगर डेवलपमेंटल एग्रीमेंट ऐसा होता है कि वहां पे आप ये लैंड को एलियनेट नहीं कर रहे हो, then sir, I must tell you, this 1/3 will not be there, and that is why the legislature has drafted the act in such a way. एक इफेक्टिव रेट है और एक दूसरा रेट है. क्यों ये दूसरा रेट क्यों है? वो तो जस्ट बोल सकते थे ना कि भाई इसके ऊपर 5% दे देना है. 7.5 का कहानी क्यों आ गया? ये 7.5 का कहानी इसीलिए आ गया है, अगर कोई किसी तरह से वो अपना कन्वेंसिंग में वो 7.5 वाला प्रोविजन का फायदा नहीं उठा पाएगा, मतलब 5 वाला प्रोविजन का फायदा नहीं उठा पाएगा, उसका लैंड को वो एलियनेट नहीं करेगा, तो उसको 7.5 ही देना पड़ेगा. ये एलियनेशन हम कैसे करेंगे? छोटा सा क्लॉज डालना है. इसको बोलते हैं द क्लॉज फॉर, आप लोगों के लिए आई हैव मेड अ फ्यू पॉइंटर्स. इनमें से द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग विल बी कंप्लीशन सर्टिफिकेट क्लॉज. व्हाई कंप्लीशन सर्टिफिकेट क्लॉज? Completion certificate clause is very important. आज we all know कि today if the building is completed it becomes a movable property. उसके ऊपर कोई जीएसटी नहीं आ गया, कोई भी जीएसटी नहीं आएगा उसके ऊपर. लेकिन the schedule again says for the entire consideration, it says कि आपका जितना कंसिडरेशन मिला है वो पूरा कंप्लीशन सर्टिफिकेट के बाद होनी चाहिए. होता तो नहीं है ऐसे. सो देयरफॉर द सर्टिफिकेट क्लॉज, कंप्लीशन सर्टिफिकेट क्लॉज इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एक बात आई हैव सीन फ्रॉम माय प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपीरियंस, बहुत जगह में ये चूक हो जाता है. कैसा चूक हो जाता है? मान लीजिए आप जब पेमेंट कर रहे हैं, 70% पेमेंट आप पहले कर दिए हैं. ऑन द डेट ऑफ रजिस्ट्री यू आर डूइंग द 30% पेमेंट, और रजिस्टर्ड डीड के अंदर आपका लगा हुआ है वो कंप्लीशन सर्टिफिकेट. फिर वो 30% के ऊपर तो जीएसटी नहीं आनी चाहिए थे ना, क्योंकि मेरा जो कंसिडरेशन वैल्यू है वो कंसिडरेशन वैल्यू जब तक कंप्लीशन नहीं हुआ है तब तक यू कैन टेक इट एज अ कंसिडरेशन. बट द मोमेंट सीसी इज अवॉर्डेड, completion certificate is awarded, how can the rest of 30% be taxed? ये फ्यूचर रेफरेंस के लिए आप लोग सोच सकते हो. दूसरा चीज ये है द क्लॉज फॉर एलियनेशन. मान लो वी आर ड्राफ्टिंग एन एग्रीमेंट फॉर अपना डेवलपर्स एग्रीमेंट, जो हम बोलते हैं डेवलपर एग्रीमेंट. अ पर्सन इज गिविंग अवे हिज राइट. For example, what happens in practicality? Let us think. I have a property, age-old property. I'm giving it to the promoter. I know nothing else. Now everything is handled by the builder, the promoter. Promoter comes up with a few documents. One is called a development agreement, another is called a power of attorney, third is an assignment of right. There might be a fourth as well, indemnity clause. ये 3-4 डॉक्यूमेंट्स लेके प्रोमोटर आ जाते हैं. Now the question is, अगर यही डॉक्यूमेंट आप लोगों के पास हम दे दे, and you have to understand the taxability of that instant and to guide the promoter, search the first thing in that developmental agreement, यहाँ पे ट्रांसफर हो क्या रहा है. क्या खाली राइट टू बिल्ड दिया जा रहा है या उसी के साथ ही साथ उनको कुछ पैसा भी मिल रहा है? आई वुड सजेस्ट ये दोनों अग्रीमेंट अलग करके रखना है। एक में आप उसको राइट टू बिल्ड दे दो, दूसरा में आप उससे पैसा ले लो। अदरवाइज क्या होगा, आपका जो बेसिक अलॉटमेंट आ रहा है, मतलब जो बिल्डर शेयर आ रहा है, उसके ऊपर भी आपको जीएसटी लग जाएगा। मान लीजिए पहला दिन 25 लाख रुपए का वो आ रहा है, अलॉटमेंट प्राइस आ रहा है। इट माइट बी एन अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग, but after completion you are selling those 25 lakhs ka flat say at 60 lakhs. The law will not take it as a affordable housing. It will take it as a any housing other than which is affordable. So for that reason ये developmental agreement से इसको अलग करना बहुत जरूरी है। If we can separate these two, then खाली आपका जो कैश क्वांटम प्रोमोटर को मतलब ओनर को मिल रहा है, आरसीएम उसी के ऊपर आएगा। द बिल्डर विल चार्ज द आरसीएम ओनली ऑन दैट पार्ट, while the other part it is something that you can always contest that यहां पे कुछ दिया ही नहीं है। क्या दिया है? राइट टू बिल्ड दिया है। दैट इज नॉट अ सप्लाई, नाइदर इज इट अ सेल। To bolster this, there is one Bombay High Court judgment very recently passed, 2025. I'll just check. Bombay High Court judgment 2025, it was passed probably in the month of August, if I'm not very wrong. So in this judgment, this was exactly what I said. Now the matter has traveled to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has refused stay on that against the Bombay High Court this thing. Yes, this is, you can write down the citation, I'll give you the citation. Just a moment. So anyway, I will give you the citation. This judgment once again said that yes, please write down the citation if you want. Writ petition number 7135. Writ petition number 7135 of 2024. This is Measures Srinivasa Realcon Private Limited versus Deputy Commissioner Anti-Evasion Branch, CGST, Mumbai. This is Srinivasa Realcon Private Limited versus DC Anti-Evasion Branch, CGST and CX. So from yes please, yes please. Development agreements compensation can be your promise to give the owner's allocation. Then we can contest it as a barter. We can contest it as a barter then. I am supplying something, you are supplying something, it is an exchange of promise. But the moment I am paying some money, then that money becomes an earnest money to my promise to deliver the owner's allocation and comes under Rule 27A of the CGST rules, which says when the amount is not ascertainable in money. The question, sir, in my humble submission is the question of value. It is neither money nor consideration. It is value. If you can ascribe value to something, you can tax it. But if you cannot ascribe value to that thing, there's no question of taxation. There can be no incidence. In tax, we say, it's a technical jargon, we say there is no quid pro quo. What is quid pro quo? I give you something, you give me something. That is in fees. In tax, there is no quid pro quo. I conversely say, if there is a quid pro quo, there is no tax. अगर हम ऐसे ही एग्रीमेंट बना लिए डेवलपमेंट का एग्रीमेंट कि हम आपका ये डेवलप करके दे देंगे और इसमें से आधा आपको एलोकेट कर देंगे, तो ये तो क्विड प्रो क्यो वाला बात हो गया ना. यहां पे सेल किस चीज का हुआ, सप्लाई किस चीज का हुआ. दैट इज हाउ यू कैन सेव वन, आई मीन एट लीस्ट अ पार्ट. सेकेंडली, द सेकेंड क्लॉज, अच्छा कंप्लीशन सर्टिफिकेट वाला क्लॉज हमने बता दिया. अभी दूसरा क्लॉज है जीएसटी लायबिलिटी क्लॉज. जीएसटी लायबिलिटी क्लॉज आप रख सकते हो, नहीं भी रख सकते हो, डज नॉट मीन अ स्ट्रॉ. लेकिन रखना इसीलिए बेहतर होगा क्योंकि आपका क्लाइंट जब किसी से डील कर रहे हैं वहां पे जीएसटी लायबिलिटी लिखा होगा तो ही विल नॉट हैव द स्वेट, क्योंकि उसका क्लाइंट उसको बाद में आके नहीं बोलेगा कि भाई हमको तो पे करना पड़ रहा है, क्यों पे करना पड़ रहा है. Although in most of the cases nowadays, builders, what they do is they go for the RCM thing only. They do not take these things into account because it's already taken up in the, because nowadays that thing has come 25% becomes the super built up, although it is actually 20%. So that's how they manage. But anyway, GST liability clause will always be a good clause, especially if two companies are contracting. If the builder is constructing, say, a warehouse for a company, there has to be a GST liability clause. Same thing becomes apparent for the third clause, that is indemnity clause. मान लीजिए आज आपका जो कंस्ट्रक्शन चालू हुआ, now you know it is say 12%, that's the effective rate. Out of 18, 12%. ये खत्म होते होते the tax rate changes. It comes down. The problem is not when it comes up. The problem happens when it comes down. 12 से ये घट के 5 में आ गया. आपका आरसीएम का क्या होगा? आपका जो भी जनरल रिजर्व्स है उसका क्या होगा? If you have an indemnity clause, then you can simply create a suspense account or a reserve or whatever, you can adjust it. Because all on a sudden at the end of the day you will have some more money in your hand and you don't know how to explain that. Am I able to reach you? है ना? So this is the problem. If the money goes up, you simply ask the client, भाई बढ़ गया है आप भी पे करो. But it's not so easy when the money goes down. That is something what we need to be aware of. Next, now comes the question of joint development agreement. 2-3 lines on this. There were 2 central notifications which gave us this joint development agreements. One is notification number 4 of 2019. The other one is notification number 6 of 2019. Now 2019 का जो नोटिफिकेशन नंबर 6 है, दिस इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, क्योंकि यही वो नोटिफिकेशन है जो प्रोमोटर के ऊपर ये लायबिलिटी लगाता है कि भाई आपको ये सब मेंटेन करना पड़ेगा, आपको ये पेमेंट करना पड़ेगा, ऐसे करना पड़ेगा, ये आरसीएम देना पड़ेगा, या फिर आप फॉरवर्ड चार्ज में भी जा सकते हो. तो दिस 2 नोटिफिकेशंस, यस एब्सोल्युटली, एक है नोटिफिकेशन नंबर 4 ऑफ 2019 सीजीएस मतलब सेंट्रल टैक्स रेट वाला, दूसरा है नोटिफिकेशन नंबर 6 ऑफ 2019, ये भी है सेंट्रल टैक्स रेट वाला. इन दोनों का शायद जून में ही होगा इनका, जो भी है, मतलब इफ यू पुट द नंबर यू विल गेट इट. अच्छा, यहां पे 2 चीज को क्लैरिफाई किया गया था. एक है ट्रांसफर ऑफ डेवलपमेंट राइट्स, इसको टैक्सेबल बनाया गया था, जिसको हम लोग अभी बाइफरकेट कर पा रहे हैं. वी कैन एक्चुअली बाइफरकेट दिस डेवलपमेंटल राइट्स वाला चीज. आधा पकड़ लो, जो अब कैश में ओनर के पास जा रहा है वो कुछ कर नहीं पाएंगे हम लोग, उसको देना ही पड़ेगा. बाकी जो है दैट इज आई हैव ऑलरेडी सेड. सेकंड, जीएसटी पेएबल बाय द डेवलपर अंडर रिवर्स चार्ज मैकेनिज्म. नाउ अभी प्रॉब्लम क्या है, ये चीज लेके बहुत ही कंफ्यूजन था पहले से, क्योंकि आरसीएम आ कैसे रहा है. जो आरसीएम का प्रोविजन है सेक्शन 9 का जो प्रोविजन है, आप लोग अगर पढ़ोगे, ऑब्वियसली यू हैव रेड, यू विल सी there's nothing saying about the contractor or the promoter. Only when in the notification and only when in the 7th schedule they are touched. Now the question is, ये 9.3 में आएगा या 9.4 में? 9.3 और 9.4 if you read, it will look like the same provision, same section. बनाया क्यों है? दो चीज के लिए बने हैं, 9.3 and 9.4. If I take 9.3 first, पढ़ रहे हैं हम थोड़ा. The government may on recommendation by council by notification specify categories of supply of goods or services or both. The tax on which shall be paid on reverse charge basis by the recipient of such goods. And all provisions of this act shall apply to such recipient as if he is the person liable. अभी आ जाता है 9.4 में. The government may on the recommendations of the council by notification specify a class of registered person who shall in respect of such specified categories of goods pay the tax on reverse charge basis as the recipient of supply of the said goods or services or both, and all the provisions will act as if he is the person liable. अभी ये दोनों प्रोविजन का जरूरत क्यों था? मान लीजिए there is a person who is liable just by being that person. There is a business that is liable just by being that business. This is the difference. In this case, the builder's liability comes both way. For example, if I am an e-commerce site, then my liability comes just by being an e-commerce site, whosoever I might be. But यहाँ पे the e-commerce, यहाँ पे builder's liability come as the specified persons, not the specified business. You might build a flat, you might build whatever you want to, but being a builder, the liability comes. For this, the most important clause will be the development rights clause. This is the fourth clause that one should have, development rights clause. And fifth one will be transactional GST clause. Why the transactional GST clause? Because in this developmental right, you have to point it out what exactly right that you are giving, or rather you have given in the developmental agreement. And transactional right clause, transactional GST clause में आपको उसी को स्पेसिफाई करना पड़ेगा कि ये था मेरा डेवलपमेंटल राइट वाला एग्रीमेंट जो हमने क्लॉज में भी बताया है, तो यहां पे जीएसटी इंप्लीकेशन ये होगा. दो लाइन का क्लॉजेस है. दीज आर द थिंग्स. अच्छा, ट्रांजैक्शनल आपका मान लीजिए 7.5 है और 5 है, एक इफेक्टिव रेट है और एक एक्चुअल रेट है. तो इन दोनों में से whenever we have two different rates, you have to specify in an agreement which rate are you guided with. If you do not, then your assessing authority or the adjudicating authority will say, no, there is nothing written in the agreement. How do I know? So that is why it's always better to say, no, I come under the floor rate, under the effective rate. That's all. Acha, GST responsibility clause also I told just now, that is the same thing you can add on, the GST responsibility clause. Now finally comes the time of supply clause. This is very important. If you are having a completion certificate clause, then you must have the time of supply clause, because that will show the viability or the legality of your completion certificate. हम बोल दिए 3 महीने में घर दे देंगे, हमारा कंप्लीशन सर्टिफिकेट 7 साल के बाद आया, कुछ नहीं होने वाला. The whole thing will get taxed. So for this, what we need to do is to have an interoperability between completion certificate and the time of supply clause, and time of supply clause should always override completion certificate. Now, because if you see the GST Act itself, the completion certificate, it has no value if the first person has entered into the building and has started living out there. है ना? So obviously your time of supply has to override the completion certificate clause. GST responsibility clause will be at what rate you will charge. As I said, there are two rates. एक है effective rate और एक है जो prescribed rate है. 7.5 से हम लोग 1/3 निकाल रहे हैं. अभी आप मान लीजिए कि आपका जो डेवलपमेंटल एग्रीमेंट है उनमें से आपका लैंड के ऊपर कुछ दिया ही नहीं है, आप खाली बना के उसको हाथ में सौंप के आप निकल रहे हो, तो आपको तो वो 1/3 लैंड का वो नहीं आएगा ना. इसीलिए ये जीएसटी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी क्लॉज इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अच्छा, हम जितना दूर तक बोले हैं, अगर इफ देयर इज एनी क्वेश्चन, प्लीज 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 शूट. यस, that is not the issue. The issue is if you cannot complete it within 3 years, if it is by 4 years, then there will be civil liability and civil consequences. There will be no GST consequences. Why? Your GST completion certificate clause and the time of supply clause will have to be related for a different purpose. Why for a different purpose? Because see, today you grant me the completion certificate, but you do not grant me the possession, or I do not have the registry done. Sale is not completed, supply is not completed. So if I am paying the amount afterwards, that part of the amount should not be taxed. See, the law says anything as a consideration paid has to be in its entirety before completion. तो मतलब क्या हो गया, मेरा जितना हम अमाउंट डाल रहे हैं बिफोर कंप्लीशन, दैट इज जीएसटीएबल. Even if I am paying 5% after that, how can that remain GSTable? See, I'll just read out the exact paras of the provision. Schedule 7, kindly see. What does it say? It says, this is Schedule 7, para 5B. The following shall be treated as supply of services, namely construction of a complex building, civil structure or a part thereof, including a complex building or an intended for a seller to a buyer, wholly or partly, except where entire consideration has been received after issuance of completion certificate. Then there is no GST, then there is no supply at all. Now my question is here, मान लीजिए 70% I have paid before completion, 30% I have paid after completion, then why will I pay on that 30%? Because the supply is not there after the completion certificate, yes or no? So first 70%, yes, they are saying that entire amount before completion will go for the value of supply. तो भाई वही ले लो ना 70%, बाकी 30% कैसे आएगा? क्योंकि it is by their own act they say that 70% entire amount before completion certificate, and that is why this is very important to attach completion certificate with the time of supply. क्योंकि इसके बाद क्या लाइन बोलता है, or after its first occupation whichever is earlier. आपने मुझको दे दिया, हम रह गए वहां पे, देन तो और भी हो गया. सो बी इट अ कंप्लीशन सर्टिफिकेट, बी इट अ कंप्लीशन ऑफ वर्क. तो कंप्लीशन ये जो बोल रहे हैं ना कि आफ्टर इट्स फर्स्ट ऑक्यूपेशन, मतलब लेटर ऑफ अलॉटमेंट. लेटर ऑफ अलॉटमेंट आ गया है मेरा फ्लैट का, उसके बाद हम पैसा दे रहे हैं, फिर कैसे होगा? हाउ कैन इट बी अ जीएसटीएबल क्वांटम? Now, the question is there, that is the only question, na? How can the builder even charge GST when there is no GST on that? In fact, the builder should prefer the application for advance ruling on this. Obviously, that is why that 20% and 25% thing has come up. Nowadays, you go and book a flat, you will see they are saying, भाई नहीं कारपेट एरिया का तो 25% ऊपर होते हैं सुपर बिल्डर। अरे ऐसे नहीं होते भाई। Yes.
What if a cement supplier is giving the cement to the builder who is building apartments and he is not taking any money but saying just give me 10 tax in return, so there is no sale, right?
Sir, may I know your name?
Raja Pratap.
Raja Bruttodas. Mr. Das, this is a very, very pertinent question. Now I have to travel a bit out of my scope. I'll travel in the year back to 2009. This was NHPC versus State of West Bengal. Thankfully, I was the leading counsel in that. NHPC was my client. The question was this: NHPC was constructing that Kali Jhoda. Nowadays, whenever you go to Sikkim, you will see a big dam out there. That Kali Jhoda was being constructed at that point of time. So what they were doing, they had brought in Patel. आने के बाद ये लोग बोले कि भाई हम स्टील, सीमेंट, एक्सप्लोसिव्स ये हम आपको दे देंगे, इसके लिए आप खाली मुझे पैसा दोगे ऑन द मार्केट वैल्यू। फिर क्लॉज चेंज हो गया, पैसा भी नहीं चाहिए, जो मार्केट वैल्यू है वहां से आपका कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में जो भी लगा हुआ है, वी विल मेक अ डिडक्शन एंड मेक एन एडजस्टमेंट। नाउ अंडरस्टैंड what was the situation. I am giving you cement, rods and explosives. You are, dispatching a part of the hills and erecting a structure for me. So you are giving me back that cement, rod and explosives. The departmental contention was, this is a sale. I said, where is the sale? Show me please. I would love to see where the sale is. I am giving my builder cement, rod, explosives, not charging a single paisa, only I am deducting the amount charged for cement, rod and explosive in his bills, and he is giving it back to me as a building. I contested before the Honorable Court that this is a contract of bailment. This is a contract of bailment. This is no sale. He is holding my goods. Those are my goods. He is holding those on good faith, doing some work upon it and giving it back to me again. That is the classical definition of bailment. This was works contract. Service tax, obviously, service. But if they are giving service tax or not is a different issue, because I did not appear for the service tax matter. I appeared for the VAT thing. Yes. Actually, they were giving. Yes. Now the question is, they will give everything on those excepting whatever they are supplying for themselves. आप मान लो, you are purchasing a piece of cloth, giving it to your tailor, asking him to give you a shirt. That is a service. And here you are not even paying for that cloth. You are saying, okay, whatever bill you would have made for the whole shirt, deduct the amount of fabric. I'll just pay your making charges. So on this issue, the court ultimately ruled in favor. And the same issue was cropped up before the Gangtok High Court. There also we won. on the same issue, that no, there's no sell. So that perhaps answers your question, that of barter. You can put it as barter, you can put it as anything other than sale. Let us refresh our memory. Form F, there was something called Form F in the Central Sales Tax Act. What was that? Those forms were given when the goods are moving any other way by way of sales. Yes. NHPC was not procuring the goods. NHPC had their own godown, own depot. And from there, Patel would take the goods. Patel would take the goods from NHPC. And Patel will bill the full amount of making a dam. From there, whatever elements Patel would have included for iron and steel, explosives and cement, that would have been deducted and paid. There is no actual deduction since that is not being paid. Since the whole money is with me, if you give me a bill of 15 rupees, I pay you 10, that is an adjustment. Is that a counter sale to you? Of course not. For example, this question also came in the case of Kolani breweries. Bottles of beers being sold, and then the bottles, empty bottles, received back by the company, paid money for that, like 2 rupees, 3 rupees a bottle. Department considered it to be unregistered sale. High Court said, no, that cannot be a sale. You have to have two parties for sale. Those bottles were never, if they are given back, then those were never sold. It is an additional incentive. Only the cost of the bottle is given back to them, which was being held as an earnest money. If you break the bottle, then you forfeit that 2 rupees. So there we stand. That is the point of law out here. Please ask me further questions if you have on this. Thank you. The last part will be, I'm already ahead of my time, I guess. Should I stop? Okay, I'll take 10 minutes more. Lease and rent agreements. See, rent agreements, you don't need to fret. You don't need to bother. It is under the West Bengal Premises Tenancy Act. That has got nothing to do with GST. But yes, lease agreement. Lease is the agreement for right to use. Very, very different thing. Very, very different thing than this. Today, a person can make a premises, build a premises, give it for 999 years lease, as good as sale. For general people, it's as good as a sale. But in the eyes of law, no ownership is being transferred. So for this purpose, lease has been made a deemed sale in the constitution itself, way before of this GST Act coming into play. This was Gannon-Dunkerley 1999 STC, that is around 70s when it was, and thereafter Rumapal's judgment in BSNL, 2004 or 2005 judgment. So all these things were taken into consideration on this issue itself, and it was rolled in one formation stating that lease would be on the same footing as of sale. The only difference is invoicing. I'm sending a machine from Kolkata to Meghalaya. It is caught in the middle, 128 GST. Somebody catches and holds of my thing, seizes it. The sale is not yet complete. No liability. Beg your pardon? वो तो बाद का बात है. If it is a sale, ये तो सेल आपका है नहीं, आप रेंट में, लीज में भेज रहे हो कोई मशीन। आप कलकत्ता से लीज में एक मशीन भेज रहे हो मेघालय, पकड़ा गया मान लो बोक्सीघाट चेक पोस्ट में। हैड इट बीन अ सेल सिंप्लिसिटर, लायबिलिटी आते हैं, लेकिन इन लीज अनलेस द पर्सन गेट्स पोजेशन, लायबिलिटी नहीं आता है, नहीं, नॉट एप्लीकेबल। सो द मोमेंट इट रीचेस द डेस्टिनेशन, then you have to raise an invoice. Before that, you do not need an invoice at all. Only a delivery challan will do. Yes. Only a delivery challan will do, not a job works challan, a delivery challan. I'm sending it to myself. There is another agent of mine who will show that machinery to that person concerned. But your story will be like this. That's all about lease. Unless the property has been received.
So after receipt, you have to raise that.
After receipt, you have to raise an invoice. So, possession has been taken. If your machinery is still on the vehicle, driven by your driver, your transporter, पोजेशन हैज नॉट गॉन। आप एक छोटा सा चीज सोच लो ना, अगर वो मशीन वहीं पे ब्रेक डाउन हो जाता है, उसका रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी आपका कंसाइनी लेगा? नहीं लेगा।
So the salesman भी नहीं करेगा।
आ रहे, हाँ बोलिए बोलिए बोलिए। That is a part of insurance law. I'm not on that. Had there been a forward simpliciter, they would have not taken. Rather, they are not bound to take. ये आपका कन्वेंशन के वजह से they will not take in case of a sale. But in case of a lease, they are not bound to take under law. जो चीज हमने, मेरे पास क्या है, राइट टू यूज है। If I have not used it, if I have not exercised my right, how can you hold me responsible? That will be their defense.
Sir, but you were saying machinery on lease by delivery challan. So if I get bought in the middle, so how will I prove that this is not for sale and this is just for lease?
Why do you need to prove that? First and foremost.
UA bill is necessary.
Yes.
And in that case, what will be
E-way bill is necessary, delivery challan is necessary, consignment note is necessary. These three things are very necessary. Invoice is not necessary, because if you actually, I had made a submission on this before this division bench only, kuch hi din pehle, the result will also come. The question was this, they said, my lord, there is no e-way bill. I said, very well. Hey, there is no invoice. I said, very well. If I have not completed the sale, आप मान लो मेरा मशीन देख के इन लोगों को अच्छा नहीं लगा, वापस भेज दिया, भेज सकता है कि नहीं भेज सकता है? भेज सकता है। तो कहां से मेरा सेल या कहां से मेरा लीज फ्रुक्टिफाई हुआ? नहीं हुआ। सेल का मतलब क्या है? हम भेज देंगे, अगर वो माल में डिफेक्ट है बोल के वापस करता है तो हमको दोबारा भेजना पड़ेगा। ऑल ऑन अ सडन नहीं बोल सकता कि नहीं लेंगे हम। बट लीज में दैट पर्सन विल सी, और ये लीज है या सेल है, इसी का तो गाइडिंग फंडामेंटल डॉक्यूमेंट है आपका चालान। इफ यू आर सेइंग दैट आई हैव गिवन अ डिलीवरी चालान, व्हाट डज द लॉ से? 138A की रेसुदी ठीक बोल रहा, 138A तो रूल 138A तो 138A 138A, if it is written under 138A that you have to give this thing challan in case of any other transaction without sale. That is the prima facie. Yes, I might be transferring the goods to myself. I might be giving it to my consignment agent. I might be giving it on a job works basis. My wish. But if you say it's a sale, then you have to have some material on ground to say it's a sale. something. You cannot say acting on a clandestine, acting on a information, I apprehend this is a sale. That is not done. Please. Say I am supplying that to Meghalaya. You are there as my consignment agent. From me to that person through you. Through you. Invoice. If it is an invoice, then that will be the direct party. But delivery challan mein, I am giving it to either myself. It can be another party as well. I can directly send it to the party as well. It is not necessary कि मेरा वहां पे किसी ना किसी को बैठना पड़ेगा. I can send it to that party. Once that party receives it, हम किस चीज का यहाँ पे इन्वॉइसिंग कर रहे हैं? रेंट का ना. तो रेंट तो तब पेएबल होगा जब वो मैटर उसके हाथ में जाएगा, इवन इफ इट इज पेएबल इन एडवांस. वो मैटर उसके हाथ ही में नहीं गया, हम इनवॉइस निकाल दिया, तो ये तो गलत बात हो गया. और वो इनवॉइस हम निकालेंगे भी तो दैट इनवॉइस हैज टू बी पोस्ट डेटेड. आज 14th of March, my goods are moving. My invoice cannot be dated 14th of March because from 14th of March that person is not liable to pay. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. That is exactly what happens. Once, I'll tell you, I'll give you another example. Escorts, they sell the cranes. They sometimes lease out these hydras as well. Yes. Escort happens to be my client only. I have seen them. I don't know whether they do it here or not. But in Gurgaon and Noida side, they rent out their hydra profusely. What they do, they issue an invoice. Within inverted लिख देते हैं advance. And the invoice starts, say from 1st of April. Rent payable 1st of April, rent payable on and from 1st of April till 30th of April. Invoice is being raised on 15th of March. That question once again came कि भाई इसको अभी तुम कैसे दिखाओगे? मार्केंटाइल में तो एंट्री हो गया आपका और पैसा तो घुस रहा है नेक्स्ट साल. आपका आईटीसी कहाँ से क्या करोगे? Not very good practice. Exactly, not very good practice. I had not a very good practice. I'm telling you, it's not a valid. Exactly. The service start ही नहीं हुआ है. आप इनवॉइस में एडवांस लिख देते हो, लिख के absolutely, and it will end by 30th of April. So I told them they had now rectified things on those count. So this is where we all have brought ourselves to. Now tell me if there's any further questions or I would take your leave. Huh. As far as the Municipal Act is concerned, this has got nothing to do with the fiscal part. But for the purpose of our general knowledge, this much we can say that completion certificate gives a few benefits to your building. Firstly, you can get loan. Nowadays, you will not be able to get a single loan if there is no CC. If it's a second time sale. Secondly, it shows that all municipal and corporation norms have been adhered to. The builder has built it after, like going through all the rigors of law. It should not be meddled in afterwards. There is no after dispute. And thirdly, your sanction plan was a genuine sanction plan. No, it doesn't mean an illegal property, but it becomes very irregular. Especially nowadays, it becomes very irregular, it becomes very unsellable. Not exactly subject to demolition, unless, see, demolition needs a few specific grounds. For example, completely non-sanctioned property, completely illegally constructed property, a property encroaching on a public road. There are 4 or 5 points of demolitions. Unless those happen, that much is safe. But the real problem, the real pain in the boot comes when you try to resell that property. That will be a really painful thing, because whosoever comes to you, they will not be given the credit from the bank. No loan.
If we have the sanction plan, then the property cannot be illegal.
It cannot be illegal, right? Now there are cases where they say the sanction plan itself was fraudulent. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now the problem is the builder will sit on it and builder will sell and go away. But the problem will be with the people who are buying those lands, buying properties on those lands. It's not about being bothered. You cannot have a good investment out there because they will not be able to sell it off. Or they will be able to sell it off at a very lower price than the market rate. Yes, please. IGST का परफेक्ट परफेक्ट कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है जब हाँ नहीं इसमें तो देखिए ये आपका साइटस ऑफ सेल बोलते हैं इसको मतलब अभी तो सप्लाई बोलते हैं बट व्हेन वी वर यंग वी यूज टू यूज द टर्मिनोलॉजी साइटस ऑफ सेल कि सेल आपका हो कहाँ रहा है देखिए ये हाँ ये जो लीज है ये लीज इज ऑल्सो डीम्ड सेल तो ये सेल साइटस ऑफ सेल हो कहाँ रहा है ये तो वेस्ट बंगाल में हो रहा है हम इनपुट यहाँ पे यूज कर रहे हैं अगर बिलिंग हरियाणा से होगा देन आपका आईजीएसटी का बिलिंग होगा और आईजीएसटी में ही आपको इनपुट लेना पड़ेगा हाँ दोनों प्रैक्टिस परमिसिबल है इट हैज टू बी सीन कि आपका किसमें सुविधा है आपका कन्वीनियंस किसमें है आपको यहां पे आईटीसी चाहिए है मतलब एसजीएसटी में आईटीसी चाहिए तो जोनल ऑफिस से बिल कीजिए नहीं तो आप वहां से बिल कीजिए अगर आपका आईजीएसटी में आईटीसी चाहिए है तो इट्स अ वेरी फ्री फ्लोइंग ट्रेड एज फार एज दिस थिंग इज कंसर्न स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का रेवेन्यू आई विल टेल यू समथिंग इवन इन द आईजीएसटी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट हैज अ बिग शेयर और वैसे भी रेवेन्यू स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का क्या ही बोले मतलब जितना भी दे देंगे हमें तो कुछ जी यस 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 बोथ द प्रैक्टिस आर परमिसिबल लीगल रेगुलर द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज रेगुलर वी डू 10,000 things a day which is legal but might not be regular and that entails all these show cause and notices and scrutinies and all these things. See, if you are selling it, be it regular, be it irregular, if the money, the main crux or the main foundation is this, if the money is changing hands, you get your ITC. If the money gets stuck, you don't get your ITC. B2B and B2C का concept में यही एक ही अंतर है. When the money gets stuck, B2C, आपका पैसा वहां के जाके जम गया नो फर्दर आईटीसी नथिंग What will GST do? For that we have consumer protection, for that we have civil laws, for that we have RERA. There are so many thousand things. करेक्ट करेक्ट आपको 6 महीने के बाद आईटीसी रिवर्स करना पड़ेगा और उसके बाद फिर क्लेम करना पड़ेगा जब आपको मिल जाएगा ये, क्योंकि इट इज लाइक अदरवाइज देयर वुड हैव बीन नो पैरिटी. वैट में क्या था? वैट में था नेक्स्ट टू नेक्स्ट क्वार्टर आपको रिवर्स कर देना चाहिए. और दूसरा क्या प्रोविजन था कि यू कैन अमेंड योर और रेक्टिफाई योर रिटर्न्स. यहां पे तो वो प्रोविजन है नहीं. Rectification of return is something unheard of. The only thing you get is the annual return. Sure. 94 32 30 33 09. Sir. 94 32 30 33 09. 09. Thank you so much. It was really a good. Yes, sir. Bodhayan Bhattacharya. It's not Bhattacharya, it's Bhattacharya. Double by A. That's okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all your patience and pleasure. Thanks.